I remember this day like it was yesterday. That's me there in the bottom left. It's my favorite suit. I'm 10 years old in this picture. This is the first time we took a family portrait. But the thing I noticed the most is I'm not wearing my glasses. That's ironic because at this age, the thing that defines me the most is my glasses. I remember when I found out that I had to wear glasses. I was in the second grade, Miss Evans' class, Madison Academy. I was sitting in the back because that's where you could do most of the good talking. But Miss Evans realized that I couldn't see the board from the back of the class. And so my dad took me to the doctor and I got a prescription. And once I got back in class, there was no more talking. Glasses made me feel small, even handicapped. But one person who made glasses look cool was my dad. For him, glasses were a part of his uniform. He was an engineer. Actually, he was the first black engineer that NASA hired. Back then, in order to be an engineer, you had to have a master's degree, and the local HBCU in our town, Huntsville, Alabama, was Alabama A&M University. Go Bulldogs. Incredible institution, but they didn't have an engineering program at the time. So my dad had to integrate the University of Alabama. When you think of Alabama, you think Crimson Tide, you think Nick Saban. But back then, Alabama had a different face. George Wallace, who famously said, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. And this wasn't just rhetoric. This was trouble. And on the day after Medgar Evers was assassinated in Jackson, Mississippi, my dad integrated the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Dad wanted all of us to be engineers, but I was the one that took him up on it. Before I discovered engineering, I couldn't wait to get out of the state of Alabama. But with the engineering degree, I began to think of myself not just from my own ambition, but from my ability to equip others to achieve their success. So after leaving Auburn, I went to Howard University. There I discovered that there is a bias that clouds your judgment, clouds your lens, just like driving in a storm with broken wipers. Soon I realized that whether I was clerking for a judge in DC, or practicing law in New York, or teaching at Boston College, the trouble of Alabama was always there. Just when I was beginning to gain my father's love and earn his approval, my father died. There's some who say grief is love with no place to go, and that's exactly how I felt. I spiraled. I was lost. I became chronically ill and almost died. I have friends who experienced chronic illness for the first time during the pandemic. For me, it was when my dad died. But it wasn't from a broken heart. I almost died because of a lack of vision. And then something happened. I remembered a song that my dad used to sing. Tempted and tried, we're oft made to wonder why it should be thus all the day long, while there were others living about us, never molested though in the wrong. I should have been able to sing those words when my dad died, but I couldn't. But what I was able to do was change my lens. From seeking approval to acceptance. From controller to composer, from hapless to hero, from performance to personhood. Accepting that everybody has the right to be exactly who they are. Not trying to change the world, just changing myself. And realizing that there's no greater lens than love. Even from that mountaintop, the vision of children who are able to be judged by the content of their character instead of the color of their skin. Lyrics to the greatest social movement in modern history. Those aren't fighting words. That's a love language. got so excited. I started writing books about the hero's journey and grounding myself and centering myself. I didn't need glasses to see this love, but this love stays with me just like my contact lenses. This love is consistent, not just lip service. This love is work, not just good intentions. This love is lifelong and it's every day. This love's helped me realize that there's nothing that has happened to me that has the power to disrupt my destiny. My favorite place to experience love is on the yoga mat. This isn't a love for everything. This love is grounded. This love centers me and my wellness. I work now in the healthcare industry helping people realize their potential even in the midst of crisis. As I partner with healthcare providers who specialize in chronic conditions, I help make sure that good legislation gets passed and bad legislation gets overturned. And I do that through collaboration, trying to get others who disagree with me to consider looking at situations through another lens. Because not everything that is faced can be changed, as James Baldwin says. But nothing can be changed until it is faced. I help policymakers think about issues from a lens of inspiration in the hopes that they'll be able to see the possibilities. Sometimes I even use my second lens, engineering, to help them realize that even in the midst of complex situations, there are simple answers. I may even use gospel music in the hopes that they can be encouraged even in the midst of crisis. But the lens that never fails is love. Everywhere we look, there's trouble. But through the lens of love, in any problem, if we look deep enough, we'll see ourselves and realize that together, anything is possible. Thank you so much.